Well, today we're moving on in Ephesians chapter 3, looking at verse 7 through to 13. Let me encourage you to read these verses, Ephesians 3, 7 to 13. In them, there are two key phrases that I want to pick up on. Paul describes himself as a minister of the gospel. And part of that role is that he is to preach the unsearchable riches of Christ. And the second thing is that he is to bring to light the plan of the mystery hidden for ages in God. And so these unsearchable riches and this mystery are what I want us to look at today. The first thing is that this mystery, it was a mystery. It was hidden for ages and for generations, but now it no longer is. It has been made known. And this mystery, I wonder what you think it is. Let me suggest to you this, that this mystery is God's unfolding plan for the world. And above all, his plan of redemption through Jesus. You see, all the way back, as we read through the Bible, there were some elements of God's plan that were known through the prophets, through various covenants God made. But key elements of it were hidden, and so thus were a mystery. And they were only understood as God has revealed them in history. So when you go right back to Genesis, you understand that the head of the serpent is going to be crushed by the seed of Adam. But we don't know who that is, we don't know how, we don't understand all these things. And then you have a covenant with Abraham, and we know then there's going to be a Messiah, someone that would come from his line who would bring salvation to all the nations on earth. But no one knew who this Messiah would be, no one really understood what he would do, how he would do it, or for whom he would do these things. When we come into Colossians chapter 1, it tells us the mystery hidden for ages and generations, but now revealed to his saints. To them God chose to make known how great among the Gentiles are the riches of the glory of this mystery, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory. This is the mystery. God himself will be personally present in the lives of his people. And his presence assures for us a future, a glorious future with him when he returns. The other part of the mystery is that the Gentiles are included in this. So even though at first God chose one family from whom the Jewish nation came, the promise still stood that all nations would be blessed. But it was not revealed until the New Testament, and even after Jesus had died again, was it fully understood that this included the Gentiles. This is the mystery. God's salvation plan revealed fully in Jesus. And so Paul preaches this wonderful revealed truth. But he also describes what he's revealing as unsearchably rich, the unsearchable riches of Christ. And when I think of that phrase, it's not to say that Jesus cannot be found. It's not saying that if we search for him, we'll never find him. But rather, it's saying there's so much to the gospel, so much to the good news, and especially so much that we can never fully explore or exhaust in regards to our experience and knowledge of God. I imagine someone has taken on a project. Maybe you've taken on a project. You're going to tidy a particular room of the house or the loft or the attic, and you've started, and the project has grown, and you've wondered, will it ever get to the end of it? That's what I imagine a little in the idea of it being unsearchable. I was thinking as well, we once had an opportunity to help an older lady who was a hoarder. She had a 3-bedroom house with every room and every part of every room and hallway and outside space filled with stuff, including a full garage. She also had 3 storage units she was paying for that were full of stuff she'd not seen for years, decades in fact. We were able to find a place where she would be able to store stuff free of charge and offered to help her. When we went to the storage units with her to see it all, she started discovering things that she had not seen for years. And rather than say we can throw this and keep this and throw this, she wanted to keep it all. You see, things that she had seen, that she was seeing for the first time in decades, were like a treasure to her all over again. She was delighted that she had found all this stuff. It was like finding it or buying it for the first time. And so when she found the tins of her now adult children's old colouring pencils from when they were small, that brought back memories for her. It reminded her of them, and so obviously She had to keep them and take them back to her already full house. And as I thought of what Paul was saying here, it made me think of that lady and of that situation. The unsearchable riches of Christ. I think we know the message, we know the gospel, we know this mystery that's been revealed. We're the grateful recipients of it. Many of us have read the Bible cover to cover, every book, every verse. We know it, and yet it's still unsearchable, isn't it? We can never fully plumb its depths. We know a verse, we've read it before, but in a particular situation or on a particular occasion, it comes back. And it's almost like we've discovered it for the first time. Or we read something and it takes us back. We're reminded of a particular time and something that God did, a particular word He gave to us, and that verse takes us back to that time, how special our experience of God was at that time. Maybe you read it and you're once again blown away by God's grace to you. Or you read something and you experience more of God's love because He is Himself unsearchable. We can never fully fathom or know Him completely. Unsearchably rich. And it should be that we delight in that we revel in this richness. We read of God that His greatness is unsearchable. In Isaiah, His understanding is unsearchable. In Romans, His judgments are unsearchable. We can never fully, truly know God completely. But He has revealed Himself. He has given us opportunity to do so. And so we must never grow blasé. We should never treat the gospel and the opportunity to know God as old news. I was thinking of the hymn, Tell Me the Old Story. One of the verses, it says, Tell me the story slowly that I may take it in. That wonderful redemption, God's remedy for sin. Tell me the story often, for I forget so soon. The early dew of morning has passed away at noon. He is unsearchable. And yet so often what we have searched and discovered and found, we forget or we don't fully take it in. And so let me encourage you, don't grow weary in your searching, but let's revel in the fact that God has made Himself known and that we ourselves can know Him and experience Him. There's so much to know, so much more to find out, far more that we can experience. And we need to. Because it's as we encounter and experience the gospel in our lives every day that we are transformed. So today, let me encourage you to seek and search with God for all your heart. Perhaps you will even thirst for Him like a deer thirsts for water. And where you do not feel like that, then let me encourage you to pray that God would change your heart, awaken you to Himself, and give you a great desire for Him. I pray that as we all know and are reminded of this great mystery, that our desire then would be to seek and to desire our great God.